good afternoon, sports fans, or maybe I should say good evening as we're making that transition. Just wanted to let you know that the preceding game here at the Coach K Memorial Classic between the Roseburg Dock Stewarts and the Reno Knights just concluded about 15 minutes ago. So we're going to figure that both squads will be given an opportunity to stretch out, in the case of the Knights, get a little bit of breather between games. As far as the Mustangs go, complete their warm-up process. We're expecting that this will be a great game this evening. Both of these teams have played two coming into tonight's action, and both teams have won both their games. Yesterday, the Mustangs played two and ended up with an easy victory against the Salem WellCare Dodgers by a score of 20-0. The nightcap ended up being the kind of battle that you would expect between a couple of top-flight programs, and the Mustangs ended up pulling out a 6-2 victory against the Bandits of Idaho Falls. Jim McGoy here with you, along with Kyle Clements. And Kyle, welcome to the broadcast. It was interesting. I was just reading an article today in the Rogue Valley Times. Coach King talking with Chris Henry over at the Times, just talking about, we saw a little bit of the Mustangs' versatility on display. Usually we're expecting this team to pile up the runs, but last night we saw a lot of small ball employed, and the Mustangs did well with it.
Absolutely. And, Jim, it's something we saw. You know, we've seen a little bit of it throughout the season, but last night was really on full display. I believe it was 2 bunts and a walk that loaded the bases for them in that sixth inning when they had ducks on the pond. And not only that, Jim, but they did a great job of getting runners home as well. There were a few times this season where they've had a runner on third or a runner in scoring position just to strand him towards the bottom of the inning. So they did an excellent job. And against a team like Idaho Falls, Jim, you really can't afford to leave runners on base. If you get a runner to second and third, you better bring him in.
Well, what was interesting, John King was talking about what brought that on, that to an extent, and you know as well as I do, working the camera in last night's game, that the sun is definitely a factor.
It played a big factor.
And they've just like, we can't really see what we're doing. So,
sure.
With the limited visibility, it's time to lay one down. And you always wonder, and I suppose you just about have to be there on a daily basis to know how much time they spend on it. But goodness gracious, they got the job done.
They absolutely did. And it was behind a strong pitching performance, Jim. For them to be able to go out there, and obviously that top half of the first inning, it got a little scary at one point. Idaho Falls, they plated 2 runners. They looked completely in control, but, the Mustangs did a great job of digging in, not letting things get away from them, and they did a great job of getting ahead in the count, too. First pitch strikes to batters. It was the story all night last night.
Well, you're talking about 2 complete game performances yesterday, a 5-inning job by Mason Baker earlier in the day, then Evan Roden in the nightcap last night. And you mentioned those 2 early runs for the Bandits, but then he really locked in after that. And what I always look at, I was thinking, about that late attempt at a rally by the Bandits.
Yes.
That he hit a couple of batters.
He did. He plunked 2.
Yeah, in a row. And it's like, okay, after they talk with him, how's he going to respond to it? And then he turns right around and gets the job done and finishes it.
Absolutely. And I love also, Jim, to talk more about Roden. And obviously we have to give flowers to Baker. That was just a masterful job by him yesterday, finding the zone on all his pitches. But with Roden, towards that 7th inning, Jim, the control started to get away from him. Now, those hit batters, not intentional. I believe one of them was a curveball that may have just gotten away. But either way, I love how the pitching staff for the Mustangs came out, talked to him. Instead of taking him out of the game, just calmed him down a little bit. He went out there, and I believe as soon as the pitching staff left the mound back into their dugout, he struck out a batter. So, it's the small things. It can be as simple, Jim, as a first baseman coming over, giving the pitcher a tap, saying, hey, bud, it's going to be all right. It's little things like that, but they go a long way.
You betcha. Well, and I think of a couple of times where we saw the Mustangs convert double plays. So when I look at every phase of the game, and take that into consideration, looking at the Mustangs' impressive record of 17-2.
Yes.
It's really no surprise. I mean, you look at an area where you say, gosh, probably there's some room to improve, for improvement here. But whether you're talking about the gloves, the arms, or the bats, everything is in phase.
Jim, I think last night was really a huge litmus test for the Mustangs, whether you're a parent of a player on the Mustangs or you're an old-timer that just likes to come down and watch the games. If you're just a fan of the Mustangs, I think last night showed you, Jim, that this team can go a really, really long ways. Idaho Falls is no pushover. So for them to go out there and not just squeak out a win, Jim, but really kind of dominate the game, showed that this team can go a long, long ways into August.
Well, and then King also talked about in his interview with Chris Henry that, it's not going to get any easier as they take on Reno this evening. And we just saw them take a 4-2 victory against a very competitive Roseburg Doc Stewart's team. And Coach is saying, hey, you want these games this time of year when you know that just 3 or 4 weeks down the road that you've got the playoffs around the corner, and you'll have some really tough competition from there on out, and this Reno team promises to deliver.
Absolutely. And Jim, you talk about the road ahead for the Mustangs. It is tough. Jim, 2 away games, a doubleheader in Eugene against the Challengers, a team I think is going to go very, very far into the postseason. The Mustangs can rely on that win yesterday to kind of give them a boost of confidence when they go up and play a team like the Challengers.
Absolutely. Well, why don't we go ahead and take a break right now, pause and give a little homage to our sponsors, and we welcome you coming up in just a little while here. We figure probably in about another 10 minutes or so at the most that we'll have the Knights and the Mustangs for you, and that'll be coming up here on TableRockSports.net.
In the heart of the Rogue Valley, RVTD connects us all, not just through miles traveled, but also through time. With renewable technologies and more convenient ways to get around, RVTD's building a future that keeps our region connected. Public transportation isn't just about getting from here to there. It's about the journey, past, present, and future. Rogue Valley Transportation District, celebrating 50 years of moving our community forward.
Don't miss the President's Day sales event at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat of Medford. We're stocked up on a great selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course, Ram trucks. Choose from our great inventory of new Jeep Gladiator and Grand Cherokee 4x4 models in stock now. Or test drive a new 25 Ram 1500 4x4. Shop online today with our online process to calculate your own payment, whether it's a lease, finance, or cash payment. Only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
All right, we're back here at Eagle Point High School at a venue affectionately known as the Yard, and this is where the Reno Knights and the Medford Mustangs will get set to do battle, a pair of teams that are unbeaten thus far in the Coach K Memorial Classic. This is where, now for all of those advances in technology, this is where AI can do you dirty sometimes.
Okay.
I was doing a look up on the day. I was wondering if maybe there was a website up for this tournament.
Sure.
And so I did a Google search. AI told me that this was named in honor of Coach Mike Krzyzewski.
Oh, no, that's not correct.
So let that be a lesson to you kids. Probably it's always good to have a good couple of sources handy. Ken Singer, of course, longtime manager for the Medford Mustangs, coach, PE teacher at Hedrick High School, had a nearly 800 winning percentage during his 18 years as the head man with the Medford Mustangs program. What some folks who might be newer to the Valley may not know is this Mustangs program is the winningest in AAA American Legion Baseball in Oregon history.
Yeah, no, and it's a great tournament. Jim, it's funny as you were saying that. Maybe maybe Coach Krzyzewski has some ties to the Southern Oregon area you and I don't know about.
Well, he did have Kyle Singler for a while.
It's entirely plausible.
Yeah.
But no, and it's a great tournament every single year, and the teams that they're able to bring down here are always the best in quality, and it not only serves a purpose to get people out in the sunshine and watch a baseball game, but to give the teams a chance to compete at the highest level.
Well, one of the things that's interesting in watching about the Knights, we've been talking about the Mustangs pitching coming into tonight's contest, but thus far in the tournament, if the first two games are any indication that the Knights are well stocked as well as their pitching staff is concerned, taking the Stewarts and limiting them to a pair of runs in tonight's game. Then there was a couple unearned runs in yesterday's contest in their victory against Idaho Falls. That ended up being a 7-6 win. But one thing that I've noticed in watching Coach Savage so far for Reno is that he's a guy that's not afraid to go to his bullpen and switch things up, give the batters a different look if need be.
Yeah, absolutely, Jim. And, it's going to be interesting to see how the Mustangs handle their bullpen on the other side of things. Yesterday we saw Baker go the complete game. We saw Roden go the complete game. No one in the bullpen was utilized. I think I don't think at any point in that first game did we see even action in the bullpen. I think only late in the second game did we start to see some relievers get up and get warm in the bullpen. Obviously, they never needed to be used.
Right. Well, then tonight, in terms of the matchup, it'll be Sawyer Sala pitching for Reno. He'll be going up against Cade Pedersen, a pitcher that doesn't necessarily see a ton of action. He'll split time as a lefty, between center field and the pitcher's mound.
Yeah, and Jim, that's not a diss or anything to say about Patterson. North just had two amazing pitchers that they ran throughout their high school season in Baker and in Daffern.
Absolutely. Well, before we get things going here, let's go ahead and take another break. We're just moments away from Friday night action. The Mustangs and the Knights coming up on TableRockSports.net. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
At Rogue Credit Union, we don't answer to shareholders. Instead, we return earnings back to our members. We know that we're stronger when we work together, and that's why we're invested here, living, giving, and supporting local. We're your friends and your neighbors. We know the needs of our communities. Being a part of Rogue means that our focus is on our members, and when you prosper, we prosper. See the credit union difference and how being a part of something smaller can have a bigger impact.
Bill's Glass covers the full spectrum of your glass needs and dreams. Having new windows installed by Bill's Glass dramatically update and improves the look of your home and helps reduce energy bills year-round. Let Bill's Glass show you what you've been missing. Bill's Glass, the largest glass company in Southern Oregon for your home and auto, as well as the trusted industry leader for over 50 years. Locally owned, family run, Bill's Glass in Ashland, Medford, and Grants Pass.
Diverse venues, we got them. Year-round sports access? You bet. Race cars, soccer, paragliding? Check, check, check. Medford has it covered as your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
Okay, you know how people complain about how Dutch Bros workers are like, too nice, too hyper, compliment you too much, whatever? Maybe you're not nice enough. Maybe you need to get a little Dutch Bros in you.
Discover the West Coast destination for those seeking more. More sunny days, more athletic facilities, more outdoor adventures, more to do during downtime. Medford is your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
Welcome back to the yard at Eagle Point High School. Day 2 of the Coach K Memorial Classic. Tonight, a pair of teams that have yet to taste defeat in the tournament. Tournament scheduled for 4 days. So again, tomorrow we'll be bringing you on Table Rock Sports Mustangs matchup against Corvallis, and there'll be plenty more action. We also have a Southern Oregon Baseball Club team that I'm not sure I really know much of anything about, but nonetheless, I saw as I was watching 541's coverage of Roseburg and Southern Oregon that there were a couple of familiar names on the Southern Oregon roster, and so we'll have some other familiar faces that we'll be seeing as the tournament goes on. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup for the Reno Knights, the designated visitors. Leading off and playing shortstop will be Braden Jones. He'll be followed in the order by Rex Edwards, who's patrolling center field. Kanal Chick is the DH. He'll hit third. The cleanup man is Wilson Thornton, playing catcher. Then in the 5 spot will be Logan Daffron. He'll be playing second base. The number 6 hitter, Duke Edwards, who is hitting third. And then the number 7 hitter, playing first base, Troy Riley. In the 8th spot is the left fielder, Nate Chick. And Bodie Keller will be playing right field and hitting ninth. On the mound will be Sawyer Sala. For the Mustangs, defensively, they'll look like this. In the infield, Tristan Malari at first, Keegan Painter at second. Third baseman is Sean McFall, and the shortstop is Keller Bloodworth. The outfield from left to right, Freeman Roundtree's in left, getting the start. Easton Curtis in center, and Jackson Rosenthal in right. The battery, Brady Patterson, and then the starting pitcher will be the left-hander, Cade Pedersen. Pitch inside to start off. Left-hander out of the stretch. Pedersen mostly has worked in relief thus far for the Mustangs. Comes in, 6 2/3 innings work, 3 runs given up, all earned. And a dunker out to left field. So the Knights get a man on board to lead off the game. Braden Jones at first. And coming up will be Rex Edwards, lefty hitter playing center field. Pedersen comes to the plate. The runner will go. Throw down to second base, wide of the bag. Reno with the runner in scoring position as we get the game underway. Pedersen, a 1-0 record, a 3.39 ERA. They'll lay down the bunt. Pedersen's only play will be to first. The throw is in time. The sacrifice successfully executed as the runner advances to third. Kanal Chick, designated hitter, in the 3 spot, and that's typically a spot where you expect you're going to see your best all-around hitter. Runner at third, edges off the bag, but not going anywhere. 1-0 count to Chick. The pitch on the way, the runner goes, and the play at the plate. They get him there, they get him there. The pitcher's best friend, the double play, and that will retire the side. We'll take a quick timeout, and we'll be back with the home half of the first right after these messages.
It's game time, and there's only one thing that makes it all possible. Refs.
We're looking for people like you, former athletes,
parents,
community members,
anyone who can manage the game and stick with it.
But we need more heroes and stripes, people like you.
Join the team and keep sports alive.
Play ball.
Because no ref, no game.
Choose a company that best represents you and our local community.
Choose a company that focuses on relationships rather than transactions.
Choose a company that empowers their employees and provides growth opportunities from within.
Choose a company that shows compassion and rises to the occasion in times of need.
Call a John L. Scott broker today.
To the bottom of the first we go. The Medford Mustangs will shape up accordingly. Leading off is the center fielder, Easton Curtis. He'll be followed by Jackson Rosenthal, the right fielder. The number 3 hitter is Keller Bloodworth, playing shortstop. The cleanup man, third baseman Sean McFall. The number 5 hitter, Tristan Malari at first base. Grady Sickler is the designated hitter. Number 7 hitter is Keegan Painter, playing second base. Then we have Brady Patterson behind the plate hitting 8th. Then Freeman Roundtree will be playing left field, and he will be in the number 9 spot. What an electric play defensively, and maybe that's kind of one of those underrated areas for the Mustangs, Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely. And what Reno tried to do is get that bunt out just a little bit more into the infield, maybe even back to the pitcher's mound, and it just kind of dies there in the grass in front of home plate. And the Mustangs executed that to a T, Jim.
Defensively, the Knights will look like this. They're infield. We've got Riley at first. Over at second is DeForn. At third base will be Edwards. The shortstop is Braden Jones. Outfield, it'll be Nate Chicken left. Edwards in center field. And over in right is Bodie Kellers. The battery, it'll be Thornton behind the plate, and the pitcher is Sawyer Sala. Easton Curtis out of North Medford High School stands in.
Yeah, Jim Curtis, the two-sport athlete at North, had a lot of success on the hardwood.
Well, I remember his dad, Kerry Curtis, a three-sport athlete. Good football player. He played some on the hardwood and solid contributor there. And then, of course, as you would figure, him now being a baseball coach, a good baseball player in his own right. Ball hit out to left field. Big lazy can of corn out there. And there to haul it in is Nate Chick. We've got one down. Jackson Rosenthal, the hitter. He's had a hot streak going the last several weeks. Started out the season 3 for 16, but has been on a tear ever since. A little bit quieter night last night by Rosenthal standards, but coming in. And he'll smoke that one out to right center field. And so the Mustangs get their first hit of the evening. Keller Bloodworth, the hitter. Shortstop, hitting .407. Tied for second in RBIs on the team with 20. Sala Pays a little courtesy call over to first. One on, one down. Bottom half of the first. There's a strike. As Sala gets ahead, 0-1. Rosenthal with fair speed. He's got 4 steals on the year.
Jim, they're keeping Rosenthal at bay. They don't want him getting any free bases.
Yeah, they're definitely respectable all through this line. There's depth as far as base running ability is concerned on this team. Curtis, the most prominent base stealer, but up and down the lineup, whether you're talking about Keegan Painter or Rosenthal, you got several guys that can swipe those extra bags for you. And to your point, Bloodworth gets good contact on that one. Advancing to third is Rosenthal. So the Mustangs open with runners at the corners, and that was a no-doubter. He got the meat of the bat on that one. Sean McFall, the cleanup hitter, stands in, hitting .365 with team leader in RBIs with 21. And that's where the table setters for the Mustangs do a great job of giving them guys to hit in. Sala comes to the plate. Give some thought to the backdoor throw, but they think better of it. They'll lay down the bunt, throw at the plate. They get the important out by preventing the run. So McFall aboard on a fielder's choice as they get Rosenthal home. It was almost a little bit of a replay of what we saw with Reno in the top of the first.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jim, Rosenthal didn't necessarily have to go there from third, but with the bunt laid down, he saw a big opportunity.
Tristan Malari stands in, first baseman, lefty hitter out of South Medford. Among regulars, he's the leading hitter on the team. Malari hitting .465, 20 hits and 43 at-bats. Bouncing ball, comebacker. Sala shovels it to first, and that'll retire the side. Mustangs, pair of hits, not able to convert them into runs. We'll be back with the top of the second following these messages on TableRockSports.net.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This has been my profession for 30 plus years now. I really love my work. We try to source as many ingredients as we can, as local as possible, like local fruits and vegetables. We have a menu like you would find in any nice restaurant. We don't make it until you order it, so everything will be coming out fresh. We do have wonderful desserts here as well. Every day you have 5 or 6 options as far as a fresh dessert go. People are bringing their friends and family and wanting to show off what we have here to offer.
Come take a tour of Twin Creeks and meet our award-winning
Wilson Thompson will lead off the top of the second. He'll be followed by Logan DeForno, and then by Duke Edwards. Pedersen surrendered a hit in the first inning. Doesn't look like he's quite sighted in yet. But he gets Thompson to foul that one away as the count goes 1-1. Nice breezy evening out here in Eagle Point. Hit a high of 85 today. Pitch outside and goes back to the screen. We have a 3-1 count to Thompson. Leadoff hitter here in the top of the second. Patterson catching the inside corner. On a full count now at 3-2. Patterson, the payoff pitch. A bouncing ball into left field, base hit. Roundtree picks it up on a hop. The Knights with their second hit of the contest. Logan DeForno. Part of the class of 26, so going into his senior year. Right-handed hitter, nobody out. Thompson taking a pretty decent lead off of first base. And the throw over gets away from Malari. And he's going to turn and go. Thompson headed for third, and he's in standing up. Patterson, catcher, will come up and have a word with Pedersen. Perhaps a word of encouragement here. DeForno, meanwhile, back to the batter's box. DeForno playing second base for Pete Savage. Left-hander smokes it down the pipe. Gets ahead here with the runner at third and nobody gone. That one just a little far inside as the count levels up. Pedersen. DeForno ahead of him here at 2-1. Pitch up 3-1 the count. Gets contact there, chops it. Got Duke Edwards on deck. So another deep count working here for the Knights. Pedersen, swing and a miss. Big strikeout there. One down. And that'll bring up Duke Edwards. Edwards the hitter, with Thompson the runner at third. Reaches down on the bucket for that one as Pedersen gets ahead, 0-1. Hit up the middle, slow roller. Throw over to first is in time. 2 gone, but the run comes home. So the Reno Knights take the 1-0 lead. Troy Riley the hitter. Bouncing ball down to first. Malari unassisted. And that will retire the side. Your score after 1.5. It's the Reno Knights 1 and the Rogue Credit Union Medford Mustangs 0. We'll be back following these messages on TableRockSports.net.
For over 50 years, each day has started with a smile, a helping hand, and a promise to be there when you need us most. Delivering on that promise are our hard-working, dedicated employees. At Sherm's, we're proud to be an essential part of our community and look forward to keeping our selection, quality, and value where our customers deserve for many years to come. Sherm's Food for Less and Thunderbird Market.
It takes meticulous planning, continuous monitoring, and forward thinking to deliver the perfect 3-egg omelet.
Back to the yard at Eagle Point. Grady Sickler leads off. Often we see Grady out in left field, but he's in the DH spot tonight as Freeman Roundtree takes a turn and left. Sickler hitting .385 on the year with 14 RBIs and 17 runs scored. Sella starts out the soon-to-be junior at Cascade Christian. With a strike, he swings and misses here. And talking about multi-sport athletes, Sickler, a reserve quarterback and also seeing some time at receiver for the Cascade Christian Challengers. Right now he's got a 1-2 count. Leading off here in the bottom of the second. Sickler in an open stance. He'll pop that up to second base. Closing the glove on it, making the play, is Logan DeForno. And there's one gone. Keegan Painter, who went 3 for 3 last night, got his batting average for the year up over 300. Sala working on him, has a 1-1 count. Pitch just a little inside as the count goes 2-1. Fouled back. We're even up. Swing and a miss. And there's one gone. That'll bring up Brady Patterson. Catcher, hitting .396. Tied for second in RBIs with 20 on the year. Gets ahead of Sala, 1-0. Pitch outside. Not a ton of deep counts for Sala so far. So getting those Mustang hitters to bite. But here, a hitter's count for Patterson. We'll see him at catcher. We'll see him sometimes over at third base. And he can pitch some too. Takes one for the team. He'll head on down to first. So man aboard for Freeman Roundtree. Roundtree's mostly worked as a hitter, as a pitcher, I should say, in this American Legion season, but getting a start tonight out in left field. 3 for 6 on the year, so he doesn't need GPS to find first base. Swing and a miss, strike one. Sala. So far in good form. He's ahead here, 0-2. Due up to the top of the order. Now a bouncing ball to third. Third baseman has a little bit of trouble with it. So we got 2 men aboard here. Error charge to the Knights. And here's Easton Curtis. Tying run at scoring position. And he gets ahead of Sala. Offering from number 17 is high. Pitch fouled away. Another pitch upstairs. Three and one. And Curtis draws the walk. That'll load him up. Ducks on the pond. And Coach Savage will come out of the dugout. I'd have to say among the guys that we've seen coaching in this tournament, Kyle, that Savage, a very visible possibility, that he's one of those coaches you almost always see out of the dugout.
Sure.
And one that, hey, I've got the opportunity to take time out, so I'm going to use them and spend some time offering some instruction.
Yeah, the best coaches usually kind of follow that, Jim. And for the Mustangs right now, bases loaded, 2 outs, and really what you're going to be looking for at the plate is something, high, something you can get a hold of. You really hate to swing at anything low in the zone right now. Anything from the belt up, I think, is something that they can put into the outfield and potentially bring in a few runs. But we also saw, Jim, that last at-bat, I believe, by Curtis, some great plate discipline as well, not swinging at anything outside of the zone, even when you've got a strike to your name with 2 gone. So plate discipline is going to be key here in this at-bat. Well,
and I think that's been one of the hallmarks of this Mustang team throughout the season, that this is not a team of free swingers, that they look for the good pitch to hit. And interestingly enough, Rosenthal, the team leader in walks drawn, was 17 on the year. Speaking of which, Rosenthal ahead 1-0. Sala catches the corner. Count leveled up, bases loaded, 2 gone. Mustangs looking to try to get on the scoreboard. And again, Sala working that inside portion of the plate. And now he's ahead in the count at 1-2. Rosenthal will yank that one foul. Kick up a little dust in the direction of the Reno Knights dugout. One of the things I like is that you can tell that they've got a good tournament going here. Reno is kind of an annual fixture at this tournament, along with Idaho Falls. Got a 2-2 count with 2 gone. In the bottom of the second, deuces are wild. Rosenthal stays alive, fouling it away, and he's one of those guys that not a strict dead red pull hitter, but a guy that we've seen him hit to left on a number of occasions.
What a take by Rosenthal there, Jim.
Woo!
Loads the count up full.
And that was a close pitch. So here comes the payoff pitch from Sala. Tying run, 90 feet away. And Rosenthal draws the walk, gets a tie game. So the bases remain loaded. Run comes home. And now here's Keller Bloodworth, the number 3 hitter in the order. He's been one of the dangerous ones in terms of some good alley power.
He's got a great name as well.
Agreed. If we had an all-names team, I think he'd be the captain. You do this long enough and you come across some classics. I remember Eastern Oregon had a quarterback named Dusty Gunn back in about the mid-90s during the Jim Palazzolo era. Had a chance to go out and do color for a game out there on the radio.
Great at-bat so far by Bloodworth, Jim. Just waiting patiently for his pitch. Not swinging just to swing.
Right. Well, what's interesting is I look down here, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Mustangs who have more walks than strikeouts.
Yeah.
And Keller works a hitter's count at 3-0. Got to be thinking he'll be taken all the way here. And he draws the walk. Won't see too many hitters down at this level that'll be given the green light with 3-0, but if you got a guy who's probably just in an absolute zone, maybe. Swing and a miss, McFall. Playing in his hometown at the hot corner this evening.
Yeah, Jim, wind right now blowing really just right field to left field. If he gets a hold of one and can pull one into left, could get some assistance.
Swing and a miss. And that'll complete the inning, but not before the Mustangs put a crooked number on the board and take the 2-1 lead. We'll go to the top of the third, and we'll have that for you coming up after these messages.
You work with Hart Insurance Agency, you'll experience the quality service and attention to detail that you'll only find with an independent insurance agency. Hart Insurance Agency was founded in 1947 and is one of the largest independent, locally owned agencies in Southern Oregon, with offices in Grants Pass and Medford. Their experienced team of agents have the knowledge to design, place, and to manage your personal and business insurance plans. Find out more. Visit hartinsurance.com.
Welcome to the summer of good. Good people, good taste, good vibes, and good, well, everything. When you're ready for some old-fashioned good, Abby's is your place. We've been celebrating summers around the P&W for over 60 years. At Abby's, good is a legendary tradition. Here's a good-looking pizza, guaranteed to bring some summer smiles. And right now, it's on sale, so it's good for your wallet, too. This giant is loaded with toppings and can feed up to 6 people. Order at abbys.com. Give us a call or just drop by. It's the summer of good, only at Abby's.
Nate Chick will lead off here in the top of the third. The Knights looking for an answer as the rogue credit union Medford Mustangs take the 2-1 lead. It'll be Chick, followed by Kellers, and back to the top of the order, and Braden Jones. Cade Pedersen records his first K of the evening. Bodie Kellers playing right field. Pedersen gets ahead here. 1-0. Patterson, who's also his high school teammate, comes out for a little talk.
Jim, that's what we talked about pregame, though. That's the duty of the catcher is, and it could be anything. It could be the catcher doesn't like the release of the ball, or he's not, he's seeing the pitch come out a little different than maybe he does in practice, and just trots out there to remind him, we're just having fun out here, and it can be as simple as that. I would call that a commentator's jinx right there, as that one gets away from him.
Up and in on the pitch. Well, you're talking about that. I remember seeing a play in the field yesterday, and one of the things with Coach Savage working out of the dugout. They had a fielding miscue, and he looked over at his catcher and says, basically, you're the quarterback of this defense, and we're depending on you to be the guy who knows what's going on. Meanwhile, nice play out there, and we've got 2 gone. So, seen a couple of web gems in this game this evening. Back to the top of the lineup for Braden Jones. Jones lines it to second. There to make the play is Painter. We'll go to the bottom of the third. It remains a 2-1 game. We'll be back after these messages. Mustangs taking on the Reno Knights. The Knights coming in here with an unblemished record in this tournament. Winners yesterday in a seesaw affair against Idaho Falls, and then just coming off a victory this afternoon against the Roseburg Dock Stewarts. Leading off for Medford will be Tristan Malari. He'll be followed by Grady Sickler and Keegan Painter. Pitch will call a little high and outside. Summer sports action is brought to you by our title sponsor, Lithia Jeep Dodge Chrysler, where you can find great deals on the lot or at lithiasuperstore.com. And by Rogue Credit Union with locations throughout Southern Oregon to serve you. 1-0 pitch. Malari tops among regulars in batting average. And he'll end up drawing the walk to open the inning. And that'll bring Grady Sickler to the plate. Pete Savage emerging from the dugout as they'll have a little discussion, and I'm sure we talked about not only in a situation like this about pitching, but also talking about plays defensively. And at this point, 1-run game, you want to try to keep things limited. It looks like we're going to have a pitching change. And emerging from the Knights dugout, grab our handy-dandy roster here. Emerging is Colin Sala, number 1. I believe he'll come in to pitch. Unless he's going to take an infield spot and then somebody from the infield is going to take over. We'll just have to wait and see. 2-1 ball game. Runner at first, nobody out here in the bottom of the third. Table Rock Sports is able to bring you summer sports coverage thanks to our great sponsors, including our longtime friends from Sherm's Thunderbird and Food for Less, and John L. Scott Real Estate, scoreboard sponsors for Table Rock Sports. And indeed, it is number 1, Colin Sala. Colin going into his junior year. So for the starting pitcher, Sawyer Sala, giving up a run and responsible for I should say he's given up an earned run, and he's responsible for the man aboard right now for Medford. Meanwhile, assistant coach Kevin Schaefer, little conversation with one of his high school charges as Schaefer, the head baseball coach for the Oregon 3A runner-up Cascade Christian Challengers. Sickler talked about how he plays outfield here, but also he can pitch too. He was more or less, in terms of numbers, the ace of the Challengers staff with 10 victories on the season. So I would say, Kyle, that's another thing about this team. They've got depth everywhere, and it makes it nice to, that you can plug and play a little bit. Sure. We saw yesterday, like, for example, in the opener, him giving a lot of playing time to pitchers who ordinarily don't get to field a position.
Yeah, absolutely. And having depth is key in American Legion ball as well, Jim. A lot of these guys, their arms are worn out from the spring season, right?
Right.
A lot of times that's not something that, to the layman or the average fan that they may take into account, but these guys have thrown a ton of innings for the past 4 or 5 months.
Absolutely. Here is Sickler standing in. Throw over to first. And Knight's first baseman doing a nice job there of digging it out. Troy Riley is the first baseman, wearing number 3. Sickler, the hitter, with nobody out, and Keegan Painter on deck. Grady, hitter in the open stance. Front foot pointed towards third.
Nice pitch. Curveball found the zone.
So Sala, Colin Sala, that is, ahead 0-2 on his first hitter of the game. Bouncing ball hit down to short. Get the out at second. And that's all we'll get here as Sickler gets a board on the fielder's choice. So 1 gone in the inning. Keegan Painter, the hitter. Young fellow with a lock on that second base position. We'll see Dom Daffron there from time to time. And a throw over, and it gets away from the first baseman, Sickler. He's not going to stop. He's going to go ahead and motor into third. We saw Medford get victimized by that very same thing early in the game.
The exact same play, Jim, where the runner takes off. And oftentimes the runner, Jim, this sounds strange to say, but the runner will use the sound of the crowd to dictate whether or not to turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a no-doubter. We don't talk a whole lot about his speed, but he had some giddy up there to take a pair of bases.
Curveball that he almost tried to lean into there.
Yeah, I was going to say it almost took one in the backside there. 1-0 count. The Painter. Mustangs looking for a little bit of insurance here, no doubt, as they saw the Idaho Falls game yesterday. I don't know if any lead's really all that safe against this resilient Knights team. Ball goes the other way. It'll bounce into right field. Base hit. A run will score as Sickler comes home. Three-1 ball game.
Things almost getting a little tense there, Jim, between between the Reno coach and the umpire behind home.
Well, I was going to say, if there was a guy who doesn't need to be mic'd up, because you can hear him wherever he is.
Sure.
Savage, you can hear a little bit of conversation going on there, and sounds like a little bit of a misunderstanding there. Want to know the count to Brady Patterson. Right-handed thrower, left-handed hitter. And that one almost catches the runner, and legging it out is Patterson, and we got two aboard. And that's when you know things are going your way. When you hit the ball and just kind of, even the ball, even when it looks like they've got it out, they don't. Freeman Roundtree playing left field this evening. He'll get ahead. Roundtree makes contact, hits it out to left field. And it is caught, and that'll retire the side. The Mustangs pick up a run in this inning. It's 3-1. We'll be back with the top of the fourth after we take this 60-second timeout.
In the heart of the Rogue Valley, RVTD connects us all, not just through miles traveled, but also through time. With renewable technologies and more convenient ways to get around, RVTD's building a future that keeps our region connected. Public transportation isn't just about getting from here to there. It's about the journey, past, present, and future. Rogue Valley Transportation District, celebrating 50 years of moving our community forward.
Don't miss the President's Day sales event at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat of Medford. We're stocked up on a great selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course, Ram trucks. Choose from our great inventory of new Jeep Gladiator and Grand Cherokee 4x4 models in stock now. Or test drive a new 25 Ram 1500 4x4. Shop online today with our online process to calculate your own payment, whether it's a lease, finance, or cash payment. Only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
Top of the fourth.
So far, so good for the Mustangs, Jim. Patterson's looked great out there after a somewhat difficult second inning. He's calmed down quite a bit, and the Mustang bats are really starting to heat up.
They sure are, and right now we'll see for the Knights, we'll see Edwards, Chick, and Thompson. Patterson comes with a pitch outside, and of course you're talking about how they have so many games in a row. You have a really bunched up schedule, so the more that, in terms of innings, that you can get out of your starters, the better. And at least so far in this tournament, complete game from Baker and a complete game from Roden. Pedersen working ahead here. Itchy trigger finger. Let's get that back to 2 strikes. Comebacker. Pedersen shovels it to Malari at first, and there's one gone. That'll bring up Konalchik, designated hitter. Also plays catcher. Recent high school graduate. Stands in, the right-hander. Took a mighty cut at the pitch. As Pedersen gets ahead.
Patterson's done a great job of getting ahead this evening, Jim. Getting that first strike, you know, it doesn't seem like much, but it's very crucial because once you go 0-1 in the count, right, as a pitcher, you can then say to yourself, okay, maybe I can get away with a slider outside of the zone. Maybe I can run a fastball up and in here. And then if the count evens up, it's no harm, no foul.
Well, it's almost like, to use football parlance, it's like it opens up your playbook.
Sure.
That your options are more, and sometimes, yeah, if you're ahead 0-2, you can see if you can get them fishing on a low pitch or something like that. And here's some pop on that mitt.
Oh yeah, no, he's throwing some heat out there.
Behold the power of cheese. A little too far inside that time.
Back-to-back fastballs for Patterson.
Kate comes to the plate. This pitch outside, 3-1. Drawing the walk. Chick goes down to first.
Jim, Patterson a little too reliant there on the fastball. Once it misses twice, you know, you say to yourself, okay, let's switch a pitch and maybe come back to the fastball later in the at-bat. He's stuck with it.
Well, you were talking about earlier about being ahead or being behind in the count.
Sure.
When you're ahead on the count, probably you feel a little more free to throw those breaking
Sure.
balls, and you get a little fastball dependent if you're behind. To the plate, Wilson Thompson. He's a runner at first now with one gone. There, Pedersen catches the corner. That'll level it up at 1-1. Check, they're taking a fairly decent lead off of first. I would probably tend to think with the Knights behind that probably they're a little less inclined to steal than they would be if the score were otherwise. Wilson fouls that one away. 1-2 count with one gone. Bouncing ball. And there, a foot race to the base. Won by the pitcher, Pedersen. Taking a tumble there, a little collision at first. 2 gone in the inning. And DeForno comes up to the plate. He has a runner in scoring position now. And at the plate, he represents the potential tying run. Fouled back. Pedersen ahead of DeForno. Sun working its way down. We picked out about 85 today here in Eagle Point. Talking like this weekend, the really hot one's going to be Sunday.
Sure.
Just in time for us to be done.
That's right. That's right, Jim.
We've got one final broadcast tomorrow night as the Mustangs get ready to take on the Market Men of Corvallis. Bouncing ball deep in the hole. That one's going to be trouble. Hitter gets aboard, and now we've got runners at the corners with 2 gone.
Battling the sun here with the camera. Apologize to the viewers, but about 5 to 10 minutes, and we should be just golden.
2 gone. So opportunity here as Duke Edwards stands in.
And Patterson does have a base to give here.
He does.
If in this at-bat he should decide that he'd like to see the next hitter.
The runner takes off, throw down to second. They got him! Crime doesn't pay.
Wow.
Crime does not pay for the Knights. Excellent throw there by Brady Patterson. Of course, Lou Brock would be the first to tell you that sometimes you're as much stealing on the pitcher as you are the catcher.
Sure.
But a nice throw there, and that will wipe out the threat for the Knights.
A gutsy play as well, Jim, because if that throw to second is offline or if it's bobbled, that run scores from third.
Yeah. Well, and that just goes to show you, and it seems like Brady Patterson's just been one of those guys that ends up, he's got a lot of confidence in that arm, and there with the play we just saw, we can see why. Before or after the game is a great time to visit Dutch Bros and enjoy your favorite beverage. Dutch Bros gives back to the communities they serve and celebrate your big wins at your locals. Abby's Pizza location, legendary pizza, legendary memories, Abby's. I tell you what, I don't care where you go here in Southern Oregon, it seems like there's a Abby's Pizza or a Dutch Bros on every corner.
That's right, and Jim, I just have to give you your flowers there. What a great ad read. What a great read that was.
Well, do I dare say how many years?
You
could
date yourself a little here.
Let's put it this way.
No. Let me begin this by asking you a question, if that's all right.
Sure.
Was you know, I had a name on the tip of my tongue. I was Mark McGuire playing baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Fairly, and he was still wearing the green and gold.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. I mentioned Easton Curtis earlier.
Sure.
Got to call some of his dad's games.
Okay.
And the same for the Codas. Yep. Chad's senior years when Ashland won their first state championship in football. I was spoiled. We got through that whole season without calling a loss.
Wow.
And it was 2 league rivals, Ashland and Roseburg, going for it in the state title. Matt Wells, the only field goal he kicks that year, is the game winner as Ashland wins 24-22.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was something else. A couple of future Ducks, because Coda was in that game.
Sure.
There was a kid out of Roseburg, about 310 pounds, Heath Howington, that anchored both sides of the line for the Indians. So, yeah, they've been around for a couple of minutes. Speaking of Curtis, Easton Curtis, top of the order, will go ahead and lead it off for the Mustangs. And he tries to lay down a bunt. That had some action on it, some backspin, and ends up going foul. No, I can remember when Eagle Point, Ashland, Roseburg, North and South Medford, we're all in the same league. Crater.
Okay. We're going back. We're going back now.
Yeah.
We're heading back there.
Here's the deep dive.
We're time traveling a bit.
You know, if Joe keeps hearing this, he's going to end up putting me up for doing some of those history pieces on the Ace.
Sure.
course, now while my history is deep, his is deeper.
Sure.
Bouncing ball hit down the short throw across the infield. It's high. That one sails toward the Knight dugout as Easton Curtis motors into second.
Jim, two great teams on display, but quite a few errors we've seen this evening.
Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, now that you mention it, three in the game.
From both sides. 3 in the game, or actually, 4 in the game total.
Right.
And we're in the bottom half of the 4th inning.
Well, and this is where you wonder, I know my go-to was always the sun was in my eyes.
Oh, sure. And that is a great excuse as well.
Patience at the plate here for Rosenthal. Looking to maybe tack on another run with Curtis in scoring position. But here's another one, be around long enough. I remember Rich Rosenthal from his days on staff as the sports information director at SOU. He and Billy Jacobs and I we had some road trips. Rosenthal yanks that foul. Fortunately, nothing that would get any of the three of us in trouble, but we definitely had some conversations. Sure. 2-1 the count to Jackson Rosenthal. Lays down the bunt, and a good-looking one at that.
Sacrifice works.
Yep. Well, and one of the things that Coach King talked about in his interview with Chris Henry was that he's a guy who likes to play some small ball. You can't always... And this is not really Mustang's team for hitting it out. And so sometimes you got to, do the little things like this to help manufacture runs. Bloodworth, the hitter. Not only has he got that classic name, but he does not look, when you think middle infielder, you usually think of, the little guys. But Keller Bloodworth, big fella playing the shortstop position. Bouncing ball up the middle. It's going to be a close play, but he got him. But a run will come home for the Mustangs, and it's 4-1. There's 2 out, and here comes Sean McFall. Mustangs working on a little separation here. Bottom of 4. Salo will get that one in for a strike as the count goes 0-1. Bouncing ball. That's going to be a tricky one. And McFall legs it out. Much to the delight of the Mustang faithful here in attendance. Here comes Tristan Malari. The Mustangs now with 6 hits on the evening. We've seen a lot of infield plays in this half inning. Sala. Delivers inside momentarily. Catcher has to do some scrambling to find it, but does in plenty of time. Behind the dish, Wilson Thompson. Throw over. McFall dives back. Runner goes, and a bouncing ball hit down to third. Throw down to first, and they get him, and that'll retire the side. Got 4 complete in the book. Mustangs extend their lead to 3. It's 4-1. We'll be back after this 60-second timeout.
At Rogue Credit Union, we don't answer to shareholders. Instead, we return earnings back to our members. We know that we're stronger when we work together, and that's why we're invested here, living, giving, and supporting local. We're your friends and your neighbors. We know the needs of our communities. Being a part of Rogue means that our focus is on our members, and when you prosper, we prosper. See the credit union difference and how being a part of something smaller can have a bigger impact.
Bill's Glass covers the full spectrum of your glass needs and dreams. Having new windows installed by Bill's Glass dramatically update and improves the look of your home and helps reduce energy bills year-round. Let Bill's Glass show you what you've been missing. Bill's Glass, the largest glass company in Southern Oregon for your home and auto, as well as the trusted industry leader for over 50 years. Locally owned, family run, Bill's Glass in Ashland, Medford, and Grants Pass.
Cade Pedersen, who's found his groove, will continue to work here in the top of the 5th. Due up, we'll see Edwards, Riley, and Nate Chick. First pitch inside. Bouncing ball hit down to second. Painter gets a hold of it, shovels it to first. Malari has trouble with it. And the Mustangs commit their second defensive miscue of the game. Troy Riley makes contact as fouls this one off. And you get the feeling with that lead Edwards is taking down there that if he gets something he feels like he can run on, he's going. Bouncing ball to the mound. Pedersen has some trouble with it. So we got 2 men aboard now with nobody out in the inning. I'm not sure. I appreciate the effort there on his part, but I'm wondering if he might not have been better served to let that one go. They're going to take a little time out there on the field. We want to thank Rory Wold State Farm Insurance and Lippert's Carpet One for supporting our live streams. And for over 50 years, Bill's Glass has been the industry leader and clear choice in Southern Oregon. assistant coach Brett Wolf, who piloted the North Medford Black Tornado baseball program for some number of years, comes out from the dugout, has a conversation with Pedersen. Nobody out. 2 aboard. So if you want to be a positive thinker as a Knights fan, the potential tying run at the plate in the form of Nathan Chick, who stands in. He'll show bunt. That one hit in the air. That one deep.
What a beautiful bunt, Jim.
And
just died down the third base line.
Well, you know, Pedersen slips there, but even if he takes that cleanly, that was just so well placed.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's much he could have done. So at the end of the day, we kind of end up where the execution would dictate. Bodie Kellers will stand in, left-handed hitter. Nobody out. And Reno threatening here in the top of the 5th. Keller's bat held high, even stance, and he's going to step out now. Waving a kind of a bluish green bat. And Kellers fouls it off. Now the sun just about down below the horizon. One and two the count. Big pitch here from Pedersen. Race to the bag. Del Malari was thinking about a play at home. But I think that may have been a case where discretion is the better part of valor.
Yeah, absolutely, Jimmy. It can be so tempting for the infielders to throw home, right? To save a run, but you want that surefire out, get one out on the board, and then kind of work behind your pitcher for the next few.
Braden Jones. So we go back to the top of the order for the Reno Knights, who've cut the Mustangs' lead down to 2. He's up with Rex Edwards on deck. Pitch in under the hands. Jones getting ahead here. Jones practicing patience at the plate. First base is open. But you got the number 3 hitter on deck for the Knights. Actually, I should say the number 2.
Yeah, Patterson now with a base to give as well, Jim. So not the end of the world if he does end up walking him here.
4-2 ball game. Knights put a run on the board and the possibility for more. 3-0 count. Pulls it foul and the count goes 3-1. Pedersen to the plate. That sails in, and the bases are loaded. That'll bring up Rex Edwards, lefty hitting center fielder. Part of the class of 2026. Bouncing ball, and once again that glances off of Pedersen, and a run comes home.
The unfortunate bounce there, Jim. May have been a play to first there towards the tail end of that exchange, but Knights are now coming alive.
And Kanalchik standing in, occupying that 3 spot. So one expected he's likely, arguably, the toughest out in the lineup. And meanwhile, that gets away from Patterson, the catcher, and a run comes home. We're tied up. So it's been like a death by 1,000 paper cuts in this inning for the Mustangs.
Smart time for a mound visit.
So he'll Coach Wolf will come out, have a little discussion. Today's game is brought to you by the Southern Oregon Sports Commission's Know Your Role campaign, promoting respectful behavior at youth sporting events, and by Hard Insurance of Medford and Grants Pass, who can help with personal or business policies, an independent agency. And I've got to say, in spite of some of those unfortunate videos you often see on social media, that the folks we've had here at these games have done a nice job of knowing their role in a sense, being
Absolutely.
fans. And yeah, they might say, well, what about that call? But it's nothing like some of the unfortunate stuff that we often see. Got a new pitcher in the game. Hard to get a good look at him yet. Looked like that might... That is Grady Sickler. And Sickler, most recently, threw 4 shutout innings in a Mustang victory. Got a tie ball game with just 1 out here. The Knights have rallied from a 4-1 deficit with 3 here in the inning to tie it up, and the bases remain loaded. Sickler started the night as the DH. So now he'll assume mound duties here. Rears back, and of course Sickler on his high school team plays catcher as well as pitching, and so when you bring this guy in, you know he's a guy that's got an arm on him.
First time we've seen a pitcher out of the pen for the Mustangs in this tournament so far, Jim, and you know, bringing a pitcher out of the pen, it can be really, really helpful, right?
Right.
The pitches come in a little differently. The fastballs come off the fingers a bit differently. The sliders maybe cut a little less or a little more.
And then we go from left-hander to right-hander.
Exactly.
So Sickler will go to work here. Get you some numbers on him and momentarily. Chick looks at a ball. Sickler, his 3rd appearance. He has 5 innings under his belt, a 1.4 ERA. So he hasn't thrown a lot here in the summer. 3-0 advantage. Chick with one gone in the bases. We got runners at second, third. Here. Cannell loads them up once again. And Thompson will come to the plate. Opportunity to untie the knot here as we got a 4-4 ball game. So we got Connell Chick at first base. We got runners now second and third. Sickler comes to the plate. Thompson gets ahead 1-0. Sickler from the stretch. And Thompson gets a piece of it. 1-1 your count. Pitch off target. 2-1 to Thompson. Tomorrow, day number 3 of the tournament. Corvallis plays Medford at 7. We'll be streaming that game for you on Table Rock Sports. Meanwhile, Reno will be in action against Southern Oregon at 2 o'clock. Two count. 1 gone in the inning. We're all tied up at 4 apiece now. And they're called strike 3, says the man in blue, and we've got 2 gone. Nothing like a timely strikeout in a jam. Coming to the plate for the Knights is Logan DeForno. Sickler gets ahead by inducing DeForno to foul it back. Lights have come on at the ballpark. 8:45 in the evening. The appeal and no swing. We got a 1-1 count with 2 gone. DeForno working against Grady Sickler. Ball popped up in the air. Bloodworth calling everybody off. Makes the catch. And that'll retire the side, but not before the Knights catch up. It's a 4-all ball game. We'll be back with the bottom of the 5th on the other side of this break.
Diverse venues, we got them. Year-round sports access? You bet. Race cars, soccer, paragliding? Check, check, check. Medford has it covered as your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
Okay, you know how people complain about how Dutch Bros workers are like too nice, too hyper, compliment you too much, whatever. Maybe you're not nice enough. Maybe you need to get a little Dutch Bros in you.
Discover the West Coast destination for those seeking more. More sunny days, more athletic facilities, more outdoor adventures, more to do during downtime. Medford is your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
So we go to the home half of the fifth inning. It'll be Grady Sickler, Keegan Painter, and Brady Patterson on the bump. In another inning of relief is Colin Sala. Sickler looks at the pitch inside. Good eye there by Sickler as he gets ahead 2-0. Bouncing ball deep in the hole, throw across the infield is in time. Nice play at shortstop for the Knights. Braden Jones showing off his arm there. But now here's Keegan Painter. Pitch up and away from Sala. And that one inside. Two-0 pitch, fouled away. He'll lay down the bunt, and it's a good one. He's going to run it out, but they get the out. Nice play from Duke Edwards at third base, and there's two gone. I thought Keegan had that one. Now Brady Patterson will come up with two out. Mustangs catcher. Salas starts him out with a strike as he promptly gets ahead. Fouls that back out of play, or ends up over on the JV field. So it's 0-2 with two gone. Sala will try to close this one out as he comes to the plate. Outside 1-2. The catcher, Thompson, comes out for a word. Winds blowing in from the northwest as we work our way into the night. Bouncing ball hit down to short. Throw across the infield is in time. Sala sails through the inning We go to the top of the 6th. That remains a tie game, and we'll have that for you after this break.
It's game time. And there's only one thing that makes it all possible. Refs.
We're looking for people like you. Former athletes.
Parents.
Community members.
Anyone who can manage the game and stick with it.
But we need more heroes in stripes. People like you.
Join the team and keep sports alive.
Play ball.
Because no ref, no game.
Choose a company that best represents you and our local community.
Choose a company that focuses on relationships rather than transactions.
Choose a company that empowers their employees and provides growth opportunities from within.
Choose a company that shows compassion and rises to the occasion in times of need.
Call a John L. Scott broker today.
Top of the 6th here in Eagle Point. We've got a tie ball game, as you would expect by a pair of fine programs. Leading off will be Duke Edwards. He'll be followed by Troy Riley and Nate Chick. Riley anchoring first base tonight for Coach Pete Savage and company. Intensity picking it up here in a tie ball game. Sickler. Misses on his first pitch. Goes to the outside to no avail as the count goes 2-0. Next offering from Sickler, fouled off to the right. Sickler fires. There's a strike. Good battle going here between the Knights and Mustangs. Top of the 6th inning. Duke Edwards staying alive here. Comebacker, Sickler, parachutes it to first, and there's one gone. Troy Riley, the hitter. Riley, a versatile player, can also play the outfield and pitch. Shows the good eye there. Sickler pours that one in. 2-1 with one out. Here comes the pitch from Sickler. (3-1) on the way. Now it's a full count. Well, we've been talking about depth in pitching for the Mustangs. They've employed 10 different pitchers. And here,
bring him up on a check swing.
Wow. Had us all fooled. Well, had me fooled. Check the hitter, and there's 2 gone. So another big out for Sickler here. Nathan Chick. From the class of 27. Count even at 1-1, and while the home plate umpire is looking for some fresh baseballs, let's give Patterson an opportunity to talk things over with Sickler. For Grady, this is his 3rd appearance of the Legion season. And they've got a lot of games in a short amount of time. Comebacker, Sickler throws over to first. Malari closes the mid on it, and that will retire the side. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Still tied at 4, and we'll have that for you coming right up.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This has been my profession for 30 plus years now. I really love my work. We try to source as many ingredients as we can, as local as possible, like local fruits and vegetables. We have a menu like you would find in any nice restaurant. We don't make it until you order it, so everything will be coming out fresh. We do have wonderful desserts here as well. Every day you have 5 or 6 options as far as a fresh dessert go. People are bringing their friends and family and wanting to show off what we have here to offer.
Come take a tour of Twin Creeks and meet our award-winning
Bottom 6. The Mustangs will go 9, 1, and 2 in the order. Freeman Roundtree, followed by Easton Curtis and Jackson Rosenthal. That's a trio of guys I'd feel pretty confident about. Roundtree, product of Ashland. That glances off the glove, throw across the infield, and they get him. Get another nice play defensively by the Knights. Braden Jones over there at shortstop. Easton Curtis stands in. And Salas starts him out with a strike. Sala once again, like I said, location, location, location. He's got it going on right here, ahead 0-2. Check swing, the appeal down to first, no swing. Pitch from Sala. Two and two the count with one gone. Bouncing ball that is going to be fair. Sickler, all-out hustle there, but they get the hitter, and there's 2 gone. Not every day you see a hitter diving into first, but
yeah, it's rare.
Given the circumstances, he
Tie
laid
ball
out
game.
for that one.
Yeah,
Yep.
tie ball game.
Now here's Rosenthal.
Believe it or not, Jim, I believe they've done studies on this. I think it's quicker to run through the bag than it is to slide.
Yeah. That's one of those things. You got everybody got their brains working right now on that. I was like, is that me? And well, when it comes to diving, mine was more of a belly flop.
Sure. Well, we'll get on the field after the game, Jim, and test it. I can hit a grounder to you at short and then see how close I can get to first.
Oh, my goodness. Sala gets one over to run the count to 3-1. There's a strike to run the count full. Should Rosenthal get aboard, the on-deck hitter is Keller Bloodworth. Rosenthal hits one in the air over into left field, and that will retire the side. It remains a 4-all ball game. We go to the top of the 7th. And we'll have that for you on the other side of this break.
For over 50 years, each day has started with a smile, a helping hand, and a promise to be there when you need us most. Delivering on that promise are our hard-working, dedicated employees. At Sherms, we're proud to be an essential part of our community and look forward to keeping our selection, quality, and value where our customers deserve for many years to come. Sherms Food for Less and Thunderbird Market.
It takes meticulous planning, continuous monitoring, and forward thinking to deliver the perfect 3-egg omelet.
Go to the top of the 7th. It's knotted up at 4 apiece.
Jim and I having some scientific conversations here about Ohtani. Some very educational conversations in between innings.
Yes, a little bit of mutual admiration.
Yes, absolutely.
One of the sweetest swings in the sport. Well, really, when you have a player like that, you have 2 players rolled into one. Now, granted, he is just now getting a position to be able to contribute on the hill once again. And to be honest with you, I'd be about tempted to say, let's just kind of downplay that pitching part and let's stick, But on the other hand,
he's got records to chase.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Well, you think about, obviously Babe Ruth had that going for a few years, but he was really more of a pitcher than he was a hitter. Ohtani has fully given himself to both when healthy. Fouled back. Bodie Kellers got a 2-2 count here with nobody out. Looking to untie the knot.
They really do need to bring back pitchers hitting in the big leagues, Jim.
Well, I wouldn't be opposed if it weren't for the fact that so few of them do it well.
Right, sure. I just think, if you plunk a guy, you deserve your chance to go up to the plate and have some retribution done on towards
Well, there is that side of it.
Yeah.
Ball hit in the air to center field. Easton Curtis. It's been kind of a quiet night for him.
I think that's the first catch out at center he's had all evening, Jim.
Yeah, I think that's the first chance he's had. I don't even know if he's fielded any ground balls out there.
I haven't even really been paying attention to Curtis out there in center because no balls have been getting hit out there, Jim. He could have been sitting down or picking at the grass. I wouldn't have known.
Oh. Ball hit in the air to left field. A couple of players converge. It's Bloodworth making the spectacular catch, and there's two gone. I don't know about you. Every time I see a play like that, I hold my breath for just a little bit.
That play reminds me of Oregon State and Arkansas back in the College World Series 2018 when the Razorbacks had a chance to secure the championship, the national title, and that ball just drops to the ground.
Rex Edwards standing in. Looking like Sickler's found his groove. Pitch fouled back as the count goes 0-2. Sickler goes on inside on that, and the count goes 1-2. Sickler comes to the plate. Mustang fans looking for a strike there, but the man in blue says no. And it's 2-2. Pitch fouled back as the hitter, Edwards, stays alive. Sickler comes to the plate. Edwards will foul it back. Got some nice pink clouds out in the western skies. Another nice June day in Southern Oregon. Edwards will foul that one off to the left. Connell Chick, the on-deck hitter. Should Edwards extend the inning? Pitch goes full, 3-2. Payoff pitch on the way. Bouncing ball. That one will get through him for a base hit. Edwards produces the 8th hit of the game for the Knights. And Connell Chick in the DH spot tonight. Go-ahead run now at first base. Runner at first, throw over.
Just feels like he's going to take off to second on this next pitch, doesn't it?
It sure does. I mean, he looks like he's spring-loaded. Edwards About 5-7 steps off the bag. Probably about 5 steps for him, 7 if you're using mine.
Sure.
2-0 the count. Chick hits it in the air. Malari. That one hit wide of the shed and into the parking lot. Two and one with 2 gone. Runner on first. 4-all ball game, top of the 7th. Ball hit in the air to center field. Running in on it, making the play, Rosenthal. And that'll retire the side. The Mustangs dance with danger and get away unscathed. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. It's a tie game. Don't you dare go away.
If you work with Hart Insurance Agency, you'll experience the quality service and attention to detail that you'll only find with an independent insurance agency. Hart Insurance Agency was founded in 1947 and is one of the largest independent, locally owned agencies in Southern Oregon, with offices in Grants Pass and Medford. Their experienced team of agents have the knowledge to design, place, and to manage your personal and business insurance plans. Find out more. Visit heartinsurance.com.
Welcome to the summer of good. Good people, good taste, good vibes, and good, well, everything. When you're ready for some old-fashioned good, Abby's is your place. We've been celebrating summers around the P&W for over 60 years. At Abby's, good is a legendary tradition. Here's a good-looking pizza, guaranteed to bring some summer smiles. And right now, it's on sale, so it's good for your wallet, too. This giant is loaded with toppings and can feed up to 6 people. Order at abbys.com. Give us a call or just drop by. It's the summer of good, only at Abby's.
Bottom of the 7th and the heart of the Mustangs order coming up. Keller Bloodworth. And we'll also have Sean McFall for the Mustangs. And then following him will be Tristan Malari. Can the Mustangs score the walk-off? Let's see. I think that Sala may have jumped the gun there. Umpire not quite ready. Sala has been solid in relief. Pretty well shut down the Mustangs the last couple of innings. Bloodworth, ball gets through! Underneath the glove of the shortstop, Braden Jones.
Jim, you putting that down as an E6 there?
I think you have to.
Yeah.
And that's not a diss on Jones by any stretch. That thing.
No, there's an argument to be made for it was a very well hit ball.
Well, you know, it's in a moment like this, Kyle, that I ask myself,
sure,
what would Beach do?
That's a great question. I think Beach is a harsh but fair scorekeeper.
Yes.
I think that would have gone down as an E6 for Beach.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
All right, you know, and that's a tough one right there, but for the Mustangs, excellent opportunity here. When you get in this part of the order,
yeah.
you expect production.
Yeah, and Jim, the Mustangs coaching staff, they talked about it with Joe Brett, right? You know, they're not afraid to go to small ball, and we probably see that here with a runner on first.
Would not surprise me at all. And McFall is one of those players that, you know, again, you look at kind of a bigger guy and you think, yeah, but he's got wheels.
Yeah.
And it will be interesting to see what Coach King elects to do here. And pitching right now for the Reno Knights will be the left-hander, Rex Edwards. So he'll go up against the right-handed hitter. You know that old conventional wisdom about the left-handed pitcher against the right-handed hitter. That would be advantage right-hander. But then, with Malari following that, a lefty. And then sometimes if you just got a good pitcher, you just put him in there regardless of who's coming up. And this will be the first left-hander that the Mustangs have seen this evening. So many interesting things that go into who do you go with? Well, I think, we're talking about the big leagues anymore. You have bullpens that have 8 or 9 relievers in them.
Yeah.
And you have tons of options.
And tons of analytical data to go over.
Oh, my goodness.
It's really become a data-driven sport.
It has. Well, what's interesting to me in light of that, and I didn't appreciate it in the day, but I think about the teams that ran, like the Cardinals back in the 80s with Willie McGee and Lonnie Smith and Ozzie Smith and those guys.
Sure, I know all those names, Jim.
But anyway, they didn't hit many home runs.
Sure.
And the only real power threat they had was Jack Clark. And so they run, and I kind of got to where I've missed that over the years. But it seems like the trend is kind of, and I think a lot of times when you're working with analytics and those things become new, it takes you a little bit of a time to kind of find that center with it.
Yeah, something the Mustangs could do here as well, Jim. Put the steal on and then bunt.
Right.
That way, with one out, you could potentially run the squeeze play. Hard to steal, though, on a left-handed pitcher when you're trying to take second. They're basically staring right at you. Still a healthy lead.
Yeah. Well, and you can see, Bloodworth just kind of keeps edging his way out there. Edwards working on McFall. And McFall shows bunt. He lays one down. Edwards has trouble with it. And we got runners at first and second. Well, there you have it.
There you have it. Now, if you really want to go small ball, you bunt here. And then with one out, you bunt again for the squeeze play and the winning run.
I think I would.
Yeah.
Especially with a lefty hitter that I think you're going to, the logic would dictate that it would come off to the right.
Right.
Be a little bit more of a run out there. And
you just want to avoid the double play here, right?
Absolutely. Thankfully, you're not in hot water yet with no outs on the board, but let's see what they do.
Could get a good jump on a steal to third as well with a left-handed pitcher.
You could. Well, I'm trying to read the runner. I would say it's a fairly conservative lead, but tell you what, the infielders, you can see them scooting around.
Yeah.
I think that's one of those underappreciated parts of the game is when you have runners aboard, seeing what the infielders do in anticipation. Malari steps out. McFall at first. Bloodworth at second. They'll lay down the bunt. And he can't get to it.
Incredible job of small ball here, Jim. This is small ball to perfection.
It is.
It's poetry in motion is what it is.
Well, and you got to think, if you got a coach who buys into it, such as John King does, the evidence suggests they work on it, and they do it quite well. Now you've got Grady Sickler coming to the plate.
Squeeze play has to be on here, or do you let him swing away? Anything into the outfield wins the game. Whether that's a pop fly or just a hit.
pitch at the feet of Sickler.
I think did that not just hit him?
Well, it sounded like the plunk it hit somebody, like it almost sounded like it hit a chest protector or something. I don't know. I'm thinking contact here. Pitch inside, 2-0. Yeah, I'm kind of tending to think towards swinging away. You got the runner at third. You've got nobody out. Of course, yeah, some of it's going to depend upon where it's hit. Now, of course, Sickler hit here, fouls it off. Because we've seen some brilliant plays, and we've seen some plays at the play tonight on stuff that's been laying down. What I don't have a real read for is Sickler as a bunter. And he's going to hit it up the middle. Base hit, and the winning run comes home. Grady Sickler. Straight up the middle. And it has been one heck of a ball game. The Mustangs take the win. And it's a 5-4 victory as the Road Credit Union Medford Mustangs now raise their record to 18-2.
Two really, and I mean extremely impressive wins the last 2 days for the Medford Mustangs, Jim. Yesterday, being able to go out there, having the pitching performance that they did from Rodin, having the bats wake up, and then here squeezing out kind of a nervy one, right? Where you're in control for most of the game, and then Reno gets back with it was 3 runs in the top half of the fourth inning, I believe, or the fifth, and to be able to see it out, it's impressive. To use small ball and then to see them, get the base hit to win it, just all around impressive.
Well, we saw a lot of big plays tonight. This will be one of those that'll be fun to go back and watch on video, that we saw the small ball. We saw some good defensive plays. On the other hand, in some ways, it was not a pretty game. A combination of 7 errors in the ball game, and of course, that is sure to give coaches some sleepless nights. Yep. But it's one of those games that comes down to the little things. If nothing else, for a team looking to make a deep run, it tells them we can play this kind of game and win it.
Yep, absolutely, Jim.
Because there's some that they just rely on pounding you, and if they don't have that going that night, then, they're out of the equation. The Mustangs celebrating the victory. And so, with that, the Knights, who played a good game tonight, they take their first loss of the tournament. And meanwhile, the Mustangs will play tomorrow. And we're going to have that game tomorrow at 7 o'clock as the Road Credit Union Medford Mustangs take on Corvallis. Reno will continue their action tomorrow. And for the Mustangs, that'll be their final day of the tournament. Then they'll have a double dip against Roseburg on Monday. Yes. Then they go to the Reno tournament.
Yeah, a lot of traveling with summer ball just in general. And then, I think it's a week or two, maybe 2 weeks, but, it's looming on the calendar, it feels like, Jim, that doubleheader in Eugene against the Challengers.
Boy, that's going to be a game and a half, and looking forward to that coming up on the schedule. Meanwhile, in terms of taking care of business here, the final totals on the night, the Mustangs with 5 runs on 9 hits and 2 errors. For Reno, 4 runs on 8 hits and 5 errors. The winning pitcher, Grady Sickler. Edwards will take the loss for the Knights, and we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. And on behalf of Kyle Clements, I'm Jim McCoy. Thank you for joining us. Have a great night, and we look forward to being with you tomorrow.